Hello lovelies and welcome back to my channel. So this video is a little bit niche for sure. I'm talking about my Hashimoto's and my thyroid and giving you all an update. Now the reason that I'm filming this video, and I know it's a little bit out of keeping of what I usually film, is because I know so many women out there have Hashimoto's and they are struggling with their health like I am and trying to figure out what to do to make themselves feel better, or at least not to feel so alone with it. So the reason I wanted to do this video was to really just reach out to anyone who has also got Hashimoto's and just share what I'm doing, what's working or what's not working, and just share my results as well. So there's a lot of transparency with it all, because I know myself that having something like an autoimmune condition can feel quite lonely. Like, a lot of people don't understand what it's like. It is pretty full on and pretty tiring, and especially when you're trying to make a change, it just seems it's very overwhelming trying to figure out results, what they mean, who to work with, what supplements to take, what makes you feel better, dietary changes, etc, etc. In this video I'm just going to be sharing with you my experiences. This is obviously not meant to be any kind of medical advice at all. I am not a doctor in any sense. But if you have Hashimoto's, it really is so important that you go and talk to a doctor, you work with a functional medicine practitioner if you want to, and get any supplements or any medicines properly prescribed to you so that you can make the right changes for your body. However, in this video I'm going to share with you what I'm doing and how it's been going. So, quick backstory for those of you who have just come across my channel, maybe through this video. My name's Becky, I'm 31. I always forget what age I am. Mama to 2 little toddlers, and I've had Hashimoto's for about 10 years. It hasn't been horrendous, in fairness. I've sort of got through it. Definitely some of those classic symptoms, fatigue, dry skin, all that kind of thing, and sluggishness, all that great Hashimoto's fun stuff. And I had 2 pregnancies. One was I had a bit of bleeding and things like that, but it was okay, and the second pregnancy was great. I breastfed my second son for a whole year after I had him, and maybe that was the reason, but after that year was up, I definitely started to feel the Hashimoto's really hitting home. And I think it was a case of so many things had happened that year that I stopped breastfeeding. Corona hit, and like the anxiety that gave me was off the scale. I got a book deal, which was amazing, but also very stressful. And also I stopped breastfeeding my son, so my hormones were crazy. So my period eventually came back as well after about 3 months of not breastfeeding, and those have been a little bit crazy too. So it's just, at this particular moment in life, it just feels like I am on this roller coaster of hormones, trying to get like a bit of equilibrium and balance back to life, especially my little thyroid, who I'm trying to look after the best I can. So the first thing I did when I noticed those Hashimoto's symptoms hitting me again, and the things I looked out for were I had like a second bout of crazy hair loss after I stopped breastfeeding. More so, not just the traditional like losing your hair around here, but it was also kind of like diffused over my whole head. I had crazy dry skin with like patches of psoriasis up here. I was starting to feel a bit tired, and I got my thyroid tested and it was quite high. I think it was something like, initially it was like more 4, and then we put my endocrinologist gave me more medicine, and then it went up to 5 on the TSH. And at that point I was like, what's happening? Because usually my thyroid responds really well to the T4 medication that I take, and I take around 100 NCGs every day at the moment, in case you're wondering. And usually it responds really well, but this time, no, it was going off on its own crazy path, and I couldn't seem to like temper it down, which was really scary. So at that point I was really freaking out. I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? My thyroid's gone mad. And I thought, right, it's time to get a functional doctor on board, because the endocrinologist was so hard to pin down. She's so overworked. She's an amazing woman, but really overworked. And also she's not holistic, so she doesn't look at things like diet and that kind of thing. She just follows that kind of NHS protocol. But I am really, really fond of her because she's brought me through 2 pregnancies really successfully. And as a result, I've got a lot of respect for her. And I also love the fact that she's so positive. Like, whenever I've talked to her in the past, she's just like, you're fine, you know, let's get your dose sorted and you'll be able to have lots of babies. And she knows so many women who have successfully had like 4 children and everything. So she's been so great during that period of having kids. But I decided, you know, it was time to take off my blinkers a little bit and get back into kind of actively trying to do stuff to help my health. And I find that quite difficult because I would rather have my head under the covers when it comes to Hashimoto's, for sure. Like, it's just not fun spending all day looking at blood tests, taking supplements, feeling the repercussions of them, reading books on it. You know, that's not stuff that sparks joy in me. I would much rather be outside gardening or playing with my kids as opposed to freaking myself out over health stuff. Anyway, what I did once I started to notice those symptoms, and I was getting sore joints as well, I decided to get a functional doctor. So I did my research and I found the one closest to me that specialised in Hashimoto's. And I've had 2 appointments with him so far. The first one was just like a general chat, so you've got the lay of the land. He then sent me off to do 3 different blood tests that I could do at home and send the blood or the saliva off to get tested. And then I had a second consultation with him just this week, and he kind of like then gave me a protocol, like an action plan. So the 3 tests that he got me to check, I'm just getting them up on my laptop down here, were iron, cortisol and thyroid. So let's start with thyroid. I got them done on a website called Let's Get Checked, which was amazing. Really, really like them. I was very impressed with that company. And my results came back okay, except for the antibodies. They're not good. So my T4 was 75, my TSH was 2.91, my free thyroxine was 15.3, my free T3 was 4.6, and my antibodies then, my TPO, which is the kind of classic one that you get tested for Hashimoto's, was 79.8. And the marker range for that is 0 to 34, so definitely above the recommended. So that kind of suggests, yes, you've got Hashimoto's. The thyroglobulin antibody, however, the optimal range for that is 0 to 115, and mine was 624, so it was really, really high. So that was interesting. I did try and sort of understand what the difference between the TPO and the thyroglobulin was, but I think from what I'm gathered, I don't think there's a lot of research done on it. I think the thyroid, the TPO reacts with the enzyme, while I'm pretty sure the thyroglobulin antibody, no, actually I have no idea, so don't don't listen to me on that. I have no idea. When I was talking to my functional doctor, he did make me feel like it was worse having high thyroglobulin. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I remember he said something about leaving deposits or something, or scar tissue, and I was like, ah, and I can't even remember. I just freaked out when he said that. He definitely did not put my mind at rest, anyway, I can tell you. So I have no idea, but next time I have a chat with him, I'll try and like dig a bit deeper and this time remember what he says. So yeah, that gave me definitely something to work from, and like in my mind anyway, when I look at that, I sort of think, right, I definitely need to get those antibodies down, because while having high on antibodies is just a sign that yes, you've got Hashimoto's, it's not in remission, it's very active, but when you've got really high antibodies, it kind of suggests this could be something wrong, like you're really depleted in something. Maybe your adrenals have gone crazy, or you need to, you know, you're not getting enough minerals. I don't know, it just suggests something isn't quite right in your diet or whatever. So then the next one that we looked at was the saliva cortisol test. Now this one was quite complicated. We got it done through ZRT Labs, which is actually in America. So you do your, I'm in the UK, so you have to do your saliva samples and then send them to America, which blew my mind. I was like, how is this going to work? Especially with Brexit and Corona and everything. I was like, they're not going to get there on time. But I think there's like a 30-day period where it's okay for the samples to be not in a fridge. So anyway, the results came back, and my morning cortisol was sitting at 6.2, which was within range. My noon cortisol was 2.9, which is edging up to the high side. My evening cortisol was 2.4, which is high. and sort of in the red part of the range. And then my night cortisol is 0.6, which is within range. In fact, it's more to the lower side. When I saw that, I kind of felt like that was okay, but when I talked to the functional doctor, he was not happy with that at all, and he said to me that I needed to go on adrenal, like a cortisol glandular supplement in the morning and go on a suppressant in the evening. But I mean, looking at it again, I kind of wonder whether I do. I don't know. I'm a complete control freak, by the way, so I find it really hard to give my body over to someone else to kind of like prescribe medicine to and stuff. And when I look at this, I kind of think, really? Like, I mean, it's a little bit high, but then I've got 2 toddlers. I don't know. Anyway, he's the professional and that's what he wants me to do. I have not done that yet because I have a reason for it, which I'll share with you in a minute. Okay guys, the last test was the iron test. Now this one was also done by Let's Get Checked, but I do need to tell you that I had to do this twice because apparently getting the ferritin, I think, and the transferrin saturation is quite hard with an at-home test. So the first one I did actually came up with just showing my iron, and they called me up and they told me there's an issue. They refunded me. They were so nice. And they sort of said that don't feel like maybe you shouldn't do it again through us, you should go to the doctor. But I did actually buy the test again and went for it again, and it came back perfect. So my iron was sitting at 16.7, which is within range. My TIBC, no idea what that is 51, within range. My transferrin saturation was 33, which is within range. And then my ferritin was 32, which was within range. Now, I thought this was all fine. So I was a little bit surprised, I'm going to say first of all, because I have so many symptoms of iron deficiency. My hair falls out sometimes around my period time. I feel so lethargic when I'm having a period and afterwards, like all those real classic anemic signs. And I was also anemic, borderline anemic, with some of my pregnancies as well. So I was quite surprised at that. However, when I showed that to the specialist, he said the ferritin was actually quite low for a woman with Hashimoto's. While 32 is technically within range, he said it's better to be more like 50, 70, and the top end that you can go up to is 150. So he was saying 50, 70 is where you want to be at for really good hair growth and to be feeling optimum. So 32, while it's not like crazy low, it definitely is pushing down. So that's all the results. I'll now tell you what he's prescribed me. So with the iron, he told me to go back on my iron supplement that I was taking from the NHS. They had prescribed it because of you know, needing iron before. So I'm taking that every day now. I take 1 tablet with a vitamin C. My doctor told me to take 1000 mcg vitamin C with it because it helps absorption. Otherwise you could take it with like a glass of orange juice. Apparently helps the absorption of the iron into the body. So I take that at night time. I don't know if that's the best time to take it, but I do know you've got to take your iron far away from your thyroid medicines. So I'm taking that. For the thyroid, I am now taking T3 medicine. Now this is a little bit different. I'm in the UK where they do not give you T3 medicine. They give you levothyroxine or T4, and that's what I've been on for 10 years. And in fairness, it's done me pretty well. But he has also given me T3, and T3 is quite common, I think, in America. I think it's quite common to have a T4 and T3 combination, or you get supplemented with extra T3. So I presume he's from that way of thinking. So he's given me some low T3, I think it's 20 mcgs, and I believe it's called Cybom. I'll write it underneath here. So I've taken 1 tablet of that a day. He also suggested I take digestive enzymes and also look at a magnesium supplement at night. I bought the magnesium citrate, which is meant to be quite relaxing, but it can make some people's stomach get irritated. So there's another version called magnesium glycyrate, I think, glycite, which is better for looser tummies, just so you know. So yeah, so that's basically where I got to with it. And then for the adrenals, he wanted me to go on glandulars. Now glandulars are, I'm not entirely sure I'm getting this right, but it's basically like cortisol or part of adrenal gland from an animal, and you take it and it kind of raises your cortisol up. And then there's another supplement you can take which helps to suppress the cortisol, and you can take that at night. And that's what he was asking me to do. I haven't bought those medicines yet because they are so expensive, and also there is a small chance it doesn't suit you. So yeah, he was saying that in some people it kind of makes your heart race too much and it's just overwhelming, in which case it's not going to work for that person. So yeah, I haven't bought those yet. I'm sort of waiting for the T3 meds to settle before I go down that route. So let's talk a bit about T3. So T3 is completely unknown to me. Like I said before, I'm in the UK. It's not something we take for our thyroids at all. So working with a functional doctor, obviously, you know, T3 is something he's very comfortable with, and I think pretty much all his clients are on T3. So yeah, I was pretty nervous going on to it, I have to admit, because I felt like if I ever wanted to get pregnant again, it was going to make things a little bit more complicated, because my medical team through the NHS wouldn't know how to work with T3, so I haven't really dealt with that in my mind yet. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work going ahead, or whether I even want to get pregnant anyway, so don't know about that. But I'm on a really low dose of it. Like I said, I'm on 20 mcg, which I don't think is a lot. I'm only on 1 tablet a day. I think you can go up to 3 tablets a day. And yeah, so I started off by taking 1 tablet, and I take it in the morning with my T4 medication, my levothyroxine, which is 100. And I take that every morning, and I've been on it for I think six days. Yeah, this is my 6th day. And it was really weird. So the first 3 days, boom, I felt it like crazy. I felt so energetic. My heart was definitely like going a bit faster, which was unpleasant, but not crazy weird, but definitely could feel it, and it made me feel a little bit panicky. But yeah, I had this amazing like sustained energy. I was going out doing all my jobs outside, feeling so good. And I remember turning to my husband and saying, Charlie, I think this is what normal people feel every day. And he was so pleased as well, because like it was just this amazing thing to have this sustained energy and no crashes that I usually have. I feel like I'm crashing throughout the day, so that was so good. And then on day 4 I just plummeted, and I felt so bad. I felt wrecked, basically, so wrecked. And just a note, the first 3 days I did not sleep well in the evenings, but by day 4 I just felt absolutely exhausted in the morning. It took me a really long time to kind of like slowly get my like momentum up for the day, and then it again sort of plateaued and sort of went back down in the evening. Slept well that evening, and then day 5 and day 6, and that's including today, feel really bad. Feel so tired and sluggish and wrecked. And of course, like, I don't know, like maybe it's not the T3 that's doing that. Maybe I'm PMSing. I think I probably have my period coming up, so it could just be like a hormone thing, and I do think my hormones are kind of everywhere at the moment, so I don't know. It's so frustrating not knowing what's going on, but maybe the T3 doesn't suit me. Like, some people take it and they do say it doesn't work for them, makes them feel worse, so we'll just wait and see. Maybe it's just a case that I don't need it, who knows. So I'm going to try and get booked in back with him soon and just kind of see the lay of the land. And if I can't get in with him, because thyroid doctors are really popular, I've discovered, and it's really hard to get, you can't just get in contact with them the next day, even though my doctor is very nice and will respond to messages within reason. You have to book ahead, and there's usually like a 3-week waiting list for my doctor. So yeah, I'm just going to have to sort of give it 2 solid weeks, I think, and just see how I feel then, and then get back in contact with him. So that was our kind of plan. Okay, so moving on to diet. Now, diet and lifestyle is also really important when it comes to living a healthy life, not just for Hashimoto's, but for anything. And one of the classic things to do for Hashimoto's is to go off gluten. Now, I've been off gluten for 4 years, and you can see my antibodies are still high. For some people, it actually reduces antibodies really low, but for me, not so much. Definitely helped with my digestion. And then when I had my first consultation with my functional doctor, he said go off dairy as well. So I've been off dairy for probably a month, or maybe no, probably more than a month, maybe 2 months now, and I don't really feel that different. I feel like I feel quite good on things like ghee, butter, cooked milk. I feel fine on, but I definitely know that I've got an intolerance to raw like uncooked milk. I definitely feel it in my stomach. But yeah, it's kind of been weird not to have those in my diet, because I do love them. but I've been very good and kept off those. And then the next thing I've done is I've sort of gone to more of a paleo diet, taken out a lot of legumes, and I've also taken, like I said, dairy out, so it's kind of like a more stricter version of paleo. And I'm feeling pretty good on that. Like my stomach is super flat, and yeah, I've been feeling okay. I've been getting more reflux though. I've never had reflux apart from when I was pregnant with my second son, but I definitely noticed like a kind of burning thing in my throat, and I think that is reflux because of the diet, which is hilarious. So yeah, I don't know, like it's meant to be very healthy, but I don't know if I think my body just wants butter back, to be honest. But I'm determined to keep on at it. I have actually got a bit of support network with the eating, which is great. I found a nutritionist who also has Hashimoto's. She's based in New York, I think. And her name is Alison, and she runs a blog called Food by Mars, and she has this online community called Nourishing You, which is really great. You pay every month, and she gives you like a live Q&A, and she gives you like a video that's specializing in something in particular, as well as meal plans, and that's been really useful. I've only been part of that for a week as well, but I really love that, and it's been nice to be able to ask questions and feel like you've got some support, especially from women as well. I think it's quite nice. So I love that. That's been fantastic. And sort of part of my plan going forward is probably to do the AIP, or the autoimmune protocol diet, at some point over the next 2 weeks. I think I'm going to sort of ebb my way into that and then just go full on healing for my body. But yeah, I still feel super confused, to like really, in all honesty, and I want this video to be super honest. As you can see, like, yeah, I've got the antibodies. I'm definitely feeling weird. I know my hormones are so off. I know that. I feel so, yeah, just, I'm getting really bad PMS. I just feel like a little bit weird. I've been getting ovulation pain, things like that I never usually get. So definitely, I think after having my second son, it has had an effect on my thyroid, and it has affected the hormones probably. So it'll be interesting to do a bit of a dig on that and just see what's going on, and try and be patient. And yeah, it's going to take a bit of time, but my goal for my next to camera chat with you guys is to be feeling a bit better, hopefully settled on the T3, or at least kind of like made my mind up where I stand with that. Hopefully get this ferritin sorted. Maybe I just end up cooking with more like iron-rich foods, and yeah, I'm gonna figure out whether I want to do this adrenal supplementation for my cortisol. I know I probably should, but I'm the kind of person that has to know everything before I feel safe to like dive in and take the supplements. I don't just want to go into it willy-nilly. I actually really want to understand it before I sort of invest in these supplements and take them. My goal is definitely to go into remission. I do not know if that's even possible for me, but I am so determined to get these antibodies way down and give my body a really good chance to heal, feel great. And if I ever do want to go for a third child, I can do it with a lot more confidence that I've got my body in the best shape I can. So I am really excited, because I think that there's going to be a lot of like good times ahead. It's just right now, it's like month 1 really of delving deep into it, and I'm just feeling a bit kind of like broke because I've spent a lot of money on my thyroid recently, and also like tired. Like I feel emotionally zapped from it, and I also feel physically tired, like I'm not feeling my best. So that's frustrating too, because I guess I kind of imagined that I would see the doctor, he would give me some medicine, I'd feel great, and that's a bit naive because nothing takes that short of time. It does take longer. So yeah, I will be back in a month. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, and I will keep you updated the best I can. My plan is to do one of these videos every month, so you can follow along if you're interested about this kind of thing. I hope you're all having a lovely day, and chat to you soon. Bye.